Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Real World Blockchain, the podcast where you can learn how your business can thrive thanks to the blockchain industry and cryptocurrencies, Web3, and all these lovely things. Today, I'm blessed to have my two partners in crime, Zoe Bredeman and Rebecca Kaplan. Hi, girls, how are you?
Hello, hello.
All righty, so first news of the day. I think Rebecca is taking us to Japan, and you want to talk to us about a new crypto exchange in Japan, right?
Yes, yes. So, Sony, have you guys ever heard of Sony? Maybe. So, they're a multimedia company, probably best known from their electronics like PlayStation, some cameras, some of their sound systems. They are preparing to launch a new cryptocurrency exchange. They will do this by revamping an exchange they purchased last year called Whalefin.
Hmm.
And they have plans to integrate this to all their other ventures, which I think is quite interesting. They actually do a lot more than electronics, so take some time to read up on that. But they have some really big plans. They're going to focus on creating more user-friendly interfaces. They will provide a new mobile app. So they're really kind of taking this opportunity to revamp that exchange and launching a new one. We don't know yet when the new exchange will be launched. But I think that as a major corporation, this decision to enter into the crypto market could encourage other ones to follow suit. And they have mentioned that they have plans to launch a private blockchain. So this aligns very much with some of the other things that they have talked about that they want to do. So quite exciting.
That's interesting. I like the name Whalefin. It's too bad that they renamed it because Whalefin is not like it's an educated name for the world of the blockchain world. But um,
Yes.
whenever a big hitter like Sony is coming to this game, that means that we're not in the confidential sector anymore. So that's a great news. And really, dear listeners, do follow the people who are working in Singapore, in China, in Japan, in Vietnam, in Thailand, because all these countries have a thriving ecosystem, something that is really teeming with life and contracts and great industrial partnerships. And that means that if you want to use cryptocurrencies in order to make business, to conduct business with the other countries, and especially countries in Southeast Asia, like this part of the world is very mature in terms of user adoption. So that's really something I find very encouraging when you conduct business from currency to currency, from time zone to time zone. So that's something people will like a lot. You wanted to say something, Rebecca? You were mute.
I was just saying, yeah, no, I'm totally. I was just saying, yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's really exciting. And when you see companies like this kind of taking a risk, and not just a risk, but they're making crypto and they're making blockchain part of their future plans. It's really exciting. And it really signals that the market is maturing, right? How different the conversations are that we're having today about this than we were maybe 3 years ago. So it's quite an exciting time, and it's amazing to see big companies like this kind of taking that step forward.
Wonderful. So next news, Zoe. When we prepared the episode, you told me that my French heart would melt because of the news you were going to talk about. So please make my heart melt. What is it about?
You are right. Ooh la la.
Oh la
So
la.
crypto firm Circle, who is also a Web3 enabler partner, said on Monday that it's been granted an e-money license from France, which makes the firm compliant with stablecoin provisions under the European Union regulation laws.
Ah, so now it's now Circle's USDC is compatible with the MiCA law, right?
Yeah, yeah, specifically the MiCA law. And the MiCA law covers transparency, disclosure, authorization, and supervision of transactions.
Hmm.
So this is really exciting, Circle being the first stablecoin to do so. And I'm admittedly not surprised based on various factors of their success thus far.
This is most impressive and interesting. So my French heart is basically saying, "Oh bordel, c'est une très très bonne nouvelle," which means good news. Ha ha ha. So I really like that because that means that if you so for our listeners, the European Union is really something with many layers. Some people would call it the European Onion instead. But basically, all these layers of laws are here because there are some differences from country to country. But it's getting more and more like the United States, and in the future is going to be probably very unified. And so, if it passes in France, which is one of the most bureaucratic countries in the EU, it's probably going to pass in every country. And if it's MiCA compliant, it's probably also going to be compliant with all the regulations in all the European countries. So thanks, Zoe, for that. That's a great news.
Of course, yeah. I mean, and in generally, you see that a lot of technology-related regulations really get initiated in the UK or in the EU somewhere, and then other countries follow, kind of as a leader and a trendsetter, if you will. So it's not specific to MiCA, but that kind of manifesting itself with MiCA, with Circle at the forefront, just says a lot.
Yeah, it's increasingly rare now to see things that only happen in one European country and not the others. Um, like it's almost like a federal state in its way. So that's pretty cool. And we had so many other things to talk about this week. It was hard to choose because Coinbase has started a lawsuit against the SEC. Van Eck, so the the Van Eck is basically now considering a Solana ETF. And we're also having a few other things. But what I would like to talk to you about, girls, for the last topic is the United Arab Emirates, so the UAE. A week ago, there was this flabbergasting news of people thinking, okay, so we're done with the business in Dubai because the UAE had outlawed crypto payments. So the UAE, the United Arab Emirates Central Bank, had outlawed the use of cryptocurrencies for payments. And so what that meant actually is that no person could accept crypto for goods or services unless it was a dirham payment token, so something approved by the state. And so registered foreign payment tokens could be used to buy virtual assets, like to make a swap from one token to another, but not to buy services and goods anymore. Of course, we can assume that there will be people who still do that because these wallets are not located, and probably this will lead to precedents. I don't know, but there was no dirham payment token 1 week ago, and that was interesting because is Bitcoin concerned? Because Bitcoin is El Salvadorian national currency. So do you think Bitcoin should be accepted? What do you think?
I think they're not the first country to try to regulate cryptocurrency by putting out their own token. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of one country that has done it successfully. It has almost always backfired that I can think of in my mind. Maybe there's one that I'm not thinking of. So it's unfortunate to see that. But it's something I think we have to watch very carefully because there's so much going on and things are happening so differently. We're seeing like opposite things happening around the world. So I think in this scenario, we need to watch it carefully and just see how it plays out. Because I am curious. Obviously, there's a lot of interest outside of crypto in that part of the world. And there's a lot of money there. And there's a lot of people who were kind of looking to those countries for like inspiration and innovation and kind of like a potential new leader when it came to innovation and technology. So it's interesting that they're chosen to go down this route, and I am curious to see how it plays out. I don't foresee it going well, and like you said, people will find a way to use whatever they want. So only time will tell, but quite interesting.
So actually, there is always already a workaround that has been found. So as I said, it's very unlikely that they would, refuse those little cryptocurrencies emitted from, countries. So, of course, USDC is going to be acceptable eventually, perhaps through a bridge or through a third party, but they're probably not going to refuse that. The question remains for big cryptocurrencies that are not tied to a state currency, but that are still used as a legal tender, such as Bitcoin, for example. That would be interesting. But actually, there's one workaround, and guess who obtained their license? We talked about them in the previous episodes, the 2 or 3 previous episodes. Their CEO had gotten a slap on his wrist, and he's currently serving a small time in prison. You guessed it, that's Binance. So basically the guys from Binance in the UAE obtained a license, and so they managed to get this workaround. So the very likely solution is that, okay, you just want to pay in dirham, okay, so we offer you the bridge, so you pay in Bitcoin, we convert that to the UAE official cryptocurrency, and we go back to it, and when you have to ramp off, we offer you those cryptocurrencies again, and that should do the trick. So actually, it's probably less frightening news now, but 1 week ago it was very frightening for people. But I'm amazed to see how the industry is able to find workarounds and solutions in such a short time, like a week. So
Yeah, I'm also impressed with that, that ability to find workarounds.
wonderful. So this was a very short episode today, but with important news, you can be concise. Thank you, everyone. This was the Real World Blockchain Podcast. This episode brought to you by Web3 Enabler, the first and only provider of cryptocurrency payment solutions on Salesforce. Stay tuned for more news and more episodes. Bye.
Bye.